False colour. What is it, how do you use it, and why is it so useful? Today we are going to run through the basics of false colour. Welcome to the Film Look. So what is false colour? To put it plain and simple, it's a feature usually found on field monitors which helps you read the exposure value of an image, very similar to zebras or a histogram. So every pixel on a screen will have an exposure value from 0 to 100, 0 being black, 100 being white, and everything in between being shades of grey. The field monitor will read the exposure values in every pixel and transform them into distinct bands of colour. So how do we use this for filmmaking? False colour will give you a chart of the colour bands, usually on the side of the monitor, providing you with chunks of different exposure values which are easy to distinguish from each other. So just like how zebras is commonly used to indicate when you've overexposed to 100 or completely white, false colour gives you a whole range of indicators. This means you can use the information when you are setting exposure for a shot. For instance, you've set up a scene, brought in your talent, and have started setting up lights. The first thing you want to do is make sure the subject has enough light on their face. It's common to set the exposure value of people with light skin to 70 IRE. On the false colour feature, we can see the 70 range shows as a light grey colour. So we can adjust the light and the settings on the camera until the majority of the face is in that colour band. But it doesn't end there, so get subscribed if you haven't already, and let's continue. Once we've adjusted and are happy with the exposure on skin, we can now adjust and customise the rest of the lighting in the scene. We might want to make the rim light on the subject a highlighted spot, say around 80 IRE, so we can adjust the brightness of the rim light until it touches on yellow. You can also do this with the background. In this case, false colour is telling us that the background is actually sitting very close to 0, so we've actually lost almost all of the information in the background. We can fix that by lifting the brightness of the background using a light until it appears in the desired colour band. In this case, we want to hit the 20 to 30 range, which is grey and blue. This is great if we want to keep the lighting in the scene very consistent between shots. Once you have one shot set up, you can make a note of the colour band values for each element in the scene. Skin tone at 70, highlight at 80, background light at 30, and make sure each shot in the scene uses these values. This is actually really cool because it means you can change the look of your film just by changing the exposure values of each light on a subject. Say for example you wanted something super contrasty like an interrogation scene. You might want to bring up the exposure on skin to the 90 range with a close hard light, drop the rim light to 30 and widen the background light. The interrogation scene in The Dark Knight, for example, actually overexposes the skin on the Joker, giving off this overwhelmingly blinding top light just as Batman smashes Joker's head against the table. Using a false colour plugin, we can actually read the exposure values from this scene and replicate it. This is what we did with our version. So next time you want to replicate the tone of a film, get a screenshot, throw it in your editor, and pop on this plugin to match the values. Links to this plugin can be found in the description. We've been using false colour for a year or two now, and we wouldn't purchase a monitor if it didn't have it included. It's so useful and easy to use once you wrap your head around the colour band system. The monitor we used in this episode, the FeelWorld MA7, is a great budget monitor with false colour included. We did a review on that monitor right here if you want to watch it. Just a quick note, because false colour uses IRE to read the exposure values, it does mean that a dark shirt and a light shirt lit with the same light will read differently. False colour is not measuring the amount of light hitting an object, it measures how bright it is on screen. So if you are matching exposure of two different subjects, make sure to read something similar such as their skin tone possibly, and not a dark shirt against a light shirt. Let me know in the comments below if any of that was a little bit confusing. I know it was when I first started, so get your comments down and we'll be sure to answer them. If you like this episode, we've actually got a lot more lighting episodes on this channel, which you can find just about here. And remember to achieve it one shot at a time.